For the start of summer, my parents insisted on taking the whole family back to the countryside to pay respects to our ancestors. The news announced a heatwave warning and said the start of summer would bring extreme heat. I tried to convince my parents, with such extreme temperatures, maybe we should skip going this year. My dad slapped me and was determined to go back. On the day it began, the terrifying heat hit. In the countryside, there was no AC, and people kept dying from the heat. My nephew kept whining for a Coke, and the whole family forced me to go out. After I left, my parents took my brother's family and hid in the cellar. Good thing Kevin tricked you into going out, they said. There aren't enough supplies for that worthless girl, let her fend for herself. I died from the heat on the way, clutching the expensive ice-cold Coke I managed to buy. When I opened my eyes again, my parents were packing for the same trip. I smiled warmly. These heat warnings are nonsense. We must go pay our respects. As summer approached, my family planned to return. A breaking news update. On the first day, temperatures are expected to hit 113 degrees Fahrenheit, with extreme heat continuing for the next 2 weeks. Please prepare for heat safety. Watching the news, I felt the scorching heat from the previous life engulf my entire body. I tried to remain calm. My sister-in-law looked at the news, uncertain. Jenny, they say this heat can kill. Should we still go? Of course, I replied, it's crucial to pay our respects. The heat warnings are just to scare us. My 5-year-old nephew rushed over. Auntie, I want a new toy. Give me $1,000. My mom backed him up. You're not even one of us. Be good to Kevin if you want us to accept you. Hand over the money. Looking at my nephew, someone I've always doted on, I felt a chill. Since he was born, I've taken care of all his formula and diapers. I even gave my brother and his wife gifts of $2,000 to $3,000 every year. Yet my mom was never satisfied and always complained about my brother not having a home. Wanting to help my parents, I spent $20,000 on their down payment. The whole family happily moved into a new home. Yet there wasn't a single bedroom for me. My family leeched off me, and when the heatwave hit, they'd rather see me dead. Everything my mom packed was tossed out by my brother. Mom, the countryside has stores. Why bring instant noodles and bottled water? There's no room in the car. It's wise to bring more food. It makes me feel secure. My sister-in-law wasn't having it. I have lots of clothes and shoes. Don't bring that junk. My dad added, Jenny has money. She can buy what we need. Hearing that, my mom's eyes lit up. Yes, we're lucky to have such a devoted daughter. Last time, at my insistence, we took a whole load of food and heat supplies. Watching them pack so lightly this time, I wondered how they'd handle 2 weeks of extreme heat. I made an excuse about work and left a day after them. My brother drove off in a Mercedes, waving, bring lots of money. Pay respects aren't cheap. The Mercedes was my car. My brother always found excuses to borrow it, and eventually, it became his. My dad scolded me harshly when I asked him to intervene. You're just a girl. Who are you to drive a luxury car? Your brother's busy and needs it. My brother, mooching off my parents, had no real job. But I'd been brainwashed over the years into thinking if my parents were happy, any sacrifice was worth it. As the car drove off, they had no idea what they were in for. Our hometown in northern rural areas had no AC and lacked sufficient food. Going back was a one-way ticket. I rented a truck from a leasing company ahead of time. I hit up several supermarkets and stocked up on supplies. Rice, instant noodles, ready-to-eat meals, fruit snacks, bottled water, and drinks. I bought some vegetables and fruits, worried they'd spoil in the heat, though I still got enough for a week. Cooling items and medicines were also a must. These filled the rented truck to the brim. I also bought 200 power banks, each fully charged. Worried the power might get cut in the ongoing heat, I picked up a few home generators. The salesman chuckled, you saw the heat news, huh? Business has been great today. It seemed like others were planning ahead, too. With everything ready, I took a driver and headed back to the countryside. Technically, I could have stayed in the city to avoid the heat, but I figured the city might not be safe either. In dire situations, even sturdy doors can't stop a desperate crowd. The countryside seemed like a better choice. In the countryside, I had a childhood friend settled abroad with a small villa in town she barely used. I got its key code from her. The truck's goods were moved into the villa's basement by a helper. I took the helper around town to buy fresh fruits and vegetables for 2 weeks. I even bought 2 boxes of temperature-reducing treats like popsicles. After seeing the helper off, I reminded him, head back home early and stock up on supplies. The heat was already high. The day before summer began, it already hit around 97 degrees Fahrenheit. The villa was a 5-minute walk from my parents' rural house. As I arrived, my mom started yelling, your brother owes $300 from playing cards. Jenny, go pay it. I shrugged it off, I'll deal with it tomorrow. You better pay it, my brother glared. The weather was stifling, and my sister-in-law started to regret it. I said we shouldn't have come back. It's Jenny's fault. No AC here. My nephew ran to kick me. Bad auntie, I'll beat you. It's so hot. Go buy an AC. Looking at my overweight nephew, I pushed him back. Get your dad to buy it. You buy it. You buy it. Grandma says your money's mine once you die. My mom chuckled awkwardly. Kids say silly things. In this family, I always felt sorry for my mom, bullied by dad and bro. I tried to make her happy, pleasing my sister-in-law with effort and money. But to her, sons and grandsons were the real treasures. Her kind gestures were aimed at my wallet. The love I craved wasn't genuine, but I'm over it now. Last time, they forced me out to die in the heat, and my mom was part of the plot. Not one of them is innocent. Kevin wants air conditioner? I'm not letting him get his way. One, I don't come back more than a few times a year, so it's not worth buying an air conditioner. I'd rather get my sister-in-law a handbag. You're so considerate. I've got my eye on this $3,000 bag. I'll send you the link. Sister-in-law, I'll get it for you when I visit. As for the link she sent, I deleted it right away. Now, even my sister-in-law stopped complaining about the heat. Instead, she grabbed my nephew by the ear and started scolding him, reincarnated as a heat demon. If it weren't for you being chubby, would you be so hot? All your grandma's fault for overfeeding you. Then my mom and sister-in-law started arguing. Mom, all about to cry, turned to me for support. Jenny, you're the one who bought all those snacks, right? In the past, I'd have taken the blame to keep the peace between them. Seeing my mom's expectant eyes, I clearly stated, one word at a time, it was you who called my sister-in-law stingy, saying she'd starve your grandson. You were the one secretly buying snacks. Oh dear, my daughter was raised for nothing, such a burden. My sister-in-law and my mom got into a big fight. My dad got annoyed and started hitting my mom. I watched it all with indifference. As the night wore on, the heat just got worse. My mom suggested maybe we should stock up on food or buy an air conditioner. I feel uneasy. My brother grumbled, it's just a little heat. We'll head back to the city in a couple of days. While my sister-in-law, busy with her manicure, said, I hate stocking up on stuff. No way, wiping the sweat off my face. I chimed in, Mom, high temps won't kill us, right? That's what my mom once told me, back in the day. Back then, she had shoved me out the door. Quit being dramatic. A little heat won't kill you. This time, I wanted to see if they could survive without me. Everyone tried showering to cool off, but it didn't help at all. Only I knew this was just the beginning. For now, the heat was still manageable. But the next day, the terrifying heat would really kick in. The very next morning, Dad and my brother went up the mountain to visit the family graves. When they got back, they were beaming. The village grocery store is looted empty. People in our village are idiots, fearing some heat wave is gonna kill them. Dad chimed in, it's all rumor from the store owner to get you to buy stuff. Heard they're selling instant noodles at $6 a pack. Total ripoff. Mom got worried and wanted to go grocery shopping. I quickly stopped her. Mom, it's all just rumors. Don't buy into it. Let's not waste our money. We only had 2 bags of grain left at home, so I had a plan. Let's sell our grains for a high price and make some profit. Dad's eyes lit up hearing profit. Sell them. We only need enough for the next 2 days anyway. And so, we sold our 2 bags of grain, just keeping enough for 3 days. Dad and my brother were counting the money, all laughs. But pretty soon, their laughter faded away, because the temperature shot up to 111 degrees Fahrenheit. The village's loudspeaker blared out that people were dying from the heat. Families started to shut doors. Panic was spreading everywhere. In our home, no one spoke. Mom cooked, and our meals turned from rice to rice soup. I didn't even get a share of the rice soup. My sister-in-law said, Jenny can skip a meal, she won't die. Eat less so your nephew can have more. Kevin rolled on the floor from the heat, yelling, I don't want rice soup, I want Coke, cold Coke. Auntie, go get it. Mom, assuming I'd go. Jenny, why don't you head to the village market for some Coke? Mom, it's a death sentence going outside now. I refused. She did what she did last time, pushing me out the door. Come back with the Coke or don't come back at all. Kevin's about to pass out. My brother snatched my phone, useless. My son could be in danger, now go. Kevin wailed, Auntie wants me to die from the heat. I want Coke. Mom coddled Kevin, threatening, if my grandson gets sick, I'll peel your skin off. Despite people dying from the heat outside, no one cared about my survival. Sister-in-law and Mom pushed me out into the yard, the door slammed shut behind. If you can't get the cold Coke, don't bother coming back. My sister-in-law yelled after me. The ground was scorching hot now. Falling, my hand screamed with pain from the burn. I hoisted myself up, my palm skin peeling away. Mom, are you really throwing me out? I asked. She hesitated a moment, then said, Kevin is this family's precious one. You're always babying him. Hurry and get it. My precious grandson can't stay sick. My heart sank, void of empathy now. Don't come crying to me later. From a straw stack by the gate, I pulled out high-grade heat-resistant gear, top-notch protection for about half an hour in over 104 degrees Fahrenheit. I didn't leave right then. Instead, I leaned against the door, listening to their conversation inside. After a while, my brother's voice said, "Jenny really left?" Sis-in-law replied with satisfaction, "Our Kevin is smart, tricked that deadweight out. No way is she getting that coke. She's better off dead out there." Dad said, "We don't have enough food. With one less mouth, we can stretch it longer. I brought her into this world. Her life belongs to the family. Can't complain." Mom, with a choke in her voice, thinking that Jenny won't come back makes me upset. "Should we let her in if she comes back?" Sister-in-law snapped. "Die if you want, but don't take us with you. We're all nearly starving. Keeping her here for what?" Jenny's saved up tens of thousands, money all for our Kevin. "You plan on dying too?" Mom went silent. I knew she was scared. Who wouldn't be? I had run all over the village the last time, finally buying a Coke at a steep price. Exhausted and blistered, all for Kevin's smile. I crawled home, peeling skin burning, just wanting to bring happiness. But even after all that, they wouldn't open the door for me. The family had planned for me to die from the start. This realization brought me a strange sense of relief. They weren't family. They were monsters. Inside, Dad suggested, "Let's pack up, get into the cellar, and wait it out. The heat will drop soon." I turned away and headed to my stocked-up villa. By the 7th day of the heat wave, the whole city would lose power and water. Until then, I basked in air conditioning and enjoyed a nice bath. The villa had everything. After grabbing an ice cream from the freezer, the chill worked its way down my throat, easing the heat from my body. The villa has 2 basement floors, one of which is a media room. I watched 2 movies while lounging on the couch and then took a nap. When I woke up, the cool air from the AC made me feel comfortable, making the high outdoor temperatures none of my concern. I had 2 missed calls. When I checked my messages, I found one from my sister-in-law, "Jenny, where are you hiding? Where's the ice-cold Coke? Your nephew got heat stroke." Was she trying to see if I was really dead or just playing dead? I pretended not to see the message and didn't respond. I opened up the surveillance app on my phone. I had installed cameras at my family's place in the countryside. On the day of the summer solstice, while everyone went to pay respects to ancestors, I sneakily installed a camera in the cellar. The camera feed showed people arguing. My mom yelled, "I thought we were almost out of rice. Why are you sneaking bread? You want to trick Jenny into dying? I'll fight you." My brother hit my mom lightly. "The bread's leftovers from our trip. Stop obsessing." Mom lashed out. "What trip? It's from the local store. You've been sneaking food." My brother avoided eye contact and stayed silent. Then I remembered yesterday my sister-in-law was missing for a while and returned acting all suspicious. So, she believed the heatwave rumors and started hoarding supplies. In the corner of the screen, there were stacks of food, cup noodles, chips, bread. Just a small shopping bag, but in this situation, it was tempting. Portions could barely last through the heat. My sister-in-law guarded the food. I scavenged this. It cost me $100. "You old fart, don't even think about eating it," Mom lamented. "Kevin buys clothes, but always asks me for money. Have you ever paid any bills? Living off us old folks," Dad said impatiently. "Why cry? It's good your daughter-in-law stocked up. Gives us hope." Sister-in-law mumbled, "It's all Jenny's fault for selling the grain. Otherwise, we wouldn't be afraid of starving." The whole family agreed and started blaming me, saying I deserved to die out there. At night, Kevin, feeling hungry, nagged until my sister-in-law brought out some instant noodles. The 3 of them ate it dry. Why not cook it? Too hot to eat soup noodles. 2 days later, their hoarded food was gone. Mom tried making them ration it, but they ignored her. Back to rice soup days. Meanwhile, I leisurely lounged in air-conditioned comfort, video chatting with an old friend overseas. "Don't feel sorry for them. Your parents are leeches," they said. "Don't worry. This daughter of theirs died on the summer solstice." Life in the villa was easygoing. The fridge and freezer were stocked. I cooked a French-style steak and video called my mom. Such a good life, so boring without someone to share it with. I'm sure they couldn't handle the oppressive heat coupled with hunger anymore. When the call connected, I heard my sister-in-law scream, "Jenny, you're eating steak with wine. You're not dead. Where are you? Did you hope I was dead?" I questioned. She awkwardly responded, "I mean, why didn't you come back with the ice-cold Coke? Where'd you go?" I almost died on the road, but someone took me in. It's fantastic here. Air conditioning, ice cream, food is plentiful. My brother, licking his chapped lips, said, "Jenny, why don't you come get us?" Yes, Dad chimed in. "Your closest family is suffering. Don't you care?" Kevin, hearing about ice cream, lunged forward, demanding, "I want ice cream, ice-cold Coke, air conditioning. Give me air conditioning." I opened my fridge, showing rows of ice-cold Coke, and looked at the camera. Want a Coke? I asked. Kevin nodded eagerly, yes. Maybe next life, I said, shutting the fridge door. Unable to get a Coke, Kevin threw a tantrum, yelling, evil aunt. I won't take care of you when you're old. I'll spend all your money. Go die. Coke. I want Coke. The whole family cursed me. My mom, with her more experienced tactics, cried, trying to guilt trip me. Kevin's just a kid. He doesn't mean any harm. He loves you, his aunt the most. Can you bear to see him suffer? Come get us out before we die. I replied, weren't you just telling me to die and save food? How could I? I'm your mother, yes, my dearest mom, yet the one who hurt me the most. Keep enduring. I'm going to eat my steak.
Bye.
I hung up, adjusting my slightly dreary mood. Some family ties are bound to be weak. You can't have what doesn't belong to you. Mom and my sister-in-law continued to bombard me with messages, pleading at first, then swearing when I didn't reply. Their spiteful words couldn't hurt me. Seeing their angry expressions on the cameras felt satisfyingly sweet. It was getting hotter. The news reported temperatures hitting 117 degrees outside. Although the cellar was cooler, it wasn't much relief, not to mention they were starving. The entire city stopped functioning, no power, no water. Both urban and rural seemed lifeless. Even the village loudspeakers stopped their usual sounds. No one knew if families were still alive in their homes. My solar-powered heating devices kept supplying energy. No one cared about the unattended villa out here. I was safe. The appliances like the AC and fridge kept running. Even if solar energy failed, I wasn't worried, as I had several household generators. Every day, I'd send my sister-in-law videos of my meals and my media room. By the 8th day of the heatwave, Kevin got heatstroke and passed out in the cellar. My sister-in-law cried over him. He was in bad shape. They didn't even have a first aid kit. Kevin, obese as he was, couldn't handle the heat. He'd always been spoiled, eating irregularly and constantly snacking since childhood. Teachers had advised them to help him lose weight for his own good. But my sister-in-law made a scene at school, accusing the teachers of discriminating against her son. The teacher got reprimanded, and after that, Kevin had no restrictions and got even fatter. Since he was small, Kevin, pampered and overindulged, had poor health, often falling ill time and again. For in this extreme heatwave, he was the first one to give in. My sister-in-law looked at Kevin, shaking him hard, starting to break down. Why did we have to come back for the summer festival? If we stayed in the city, we'd be chilling with the air conditioner on. Mentioning the city made everyone nostalgic. My dad smacked his lips, feeling unbearably irritated. He's a heavy smoker and ran out of cigarettes a while ago. Sometimes, the craving hits so hard, he'd bang his head against the wall, and he'd even fight with my mom more frequently. Before, the whole family used to gang up on me, united. Now, with me not around and this killer heat bearing down, that harmony is long gone. My brother totally agreed with my sister-in-law, chiming in, if we hadn't come back, we wouldn't be suffering. This heat is killer, Dad, it's all your fault. You insisted on visiting Grandpa and Grandma's graves. My dad wasn't having it. Besides Jenny, no one objected at the time, right? Now you're blaming me. The cellar's a little cooler, but still quite limited. It's nothing compared to the coolness of air-conditioned rooms. My sister-in-law had a blank look in her eyes. I can't even imagine how Jenny's living it up now. Eating ice cream at will, enjoying air conditioner. That heartless sister-in-law of mine doesn't care about her own parents and just went off to have a good time. Mentioning me made the whole family nod vigorously. Jenny's heartless. I'll break her legs someday. Your grandma almost drowned her because she was a girl. It was me who stopped it. Now she doesn't care about her own mother. The family was all over the place trashing me, except Kevin, who stayed silent. He was too weak to talk. Kevin came to a little and murmured, Mom, I'm hungry. I'm so thirsty. My sister-in-law had stripped Kevin of all his clothes and put him in a tub of water, hoping to cool him off. But in this heat wave, the water in the tub was warm, offering no relief at all. Kevin flailed around, trying to stand up. This heat's killing me. Aunt, come get me. My sister-in-law started to regret not rationing the food. If only we'd saved some food. There's no cure for regret. The cramped cellar was driving everyone nuts. My mom began to ramble. We should have listened to Jenny and stayed in the city. She suggested stockpiling supplies, but I scolded her for it. And all that food at home, why did we have to sell it for money? That was survival food. Now we have money but are close to starving. We almost killed Jenny. It's poetic justice for us. Poetic justice. My mom's muttering annoyed my brother, and he kicked her away. It's your fault for being useless. Jenny just wants everyone dead. You're the one who gave birth to a worthless being. My mom held her chest in pain, sweat dripping down her face, groaning in agony. I'm still your mother, and you hit me? I don't have a useless mom. My son got heatstroke, and you did nothing. If Jenny were here, we'd be saved. Mentioning me seemed to light up my brother's eyes. He steeled himself and made a decision. Dad, if we keep this up, we'll die. Jenny cares about Mom. We'll say Mom's dying, and she'll definitely come back with food. My dad hesitated. That girl's heartless, she won't believe it. We've got to be ruthless. Let Mom get hurt, and Jenny will feel sorry. My mom was the second lowest in status in the family, next to me. But she was more than willing to sacrifice herself for so-called family. My mom quickly nodded. I'll get hurt and cry to Jenny, and she'll take us away. After agreeing, my mom ran toward the cellar wall, hitting it with her head, causing blood to flow instantly. She wiped the blood away and called me on video chat. I calmly answered, watching the camera footage. Jenny, Mom is dying. Hurry back. She's not dead yet. I can't come back. There's a first aid kit at home, patch yourself up, I replied coldly. My brother rushed over. You heartless creature. Your nephew is unconscious from heat stroke, Mom's losing blood fast, the whole family is doomed, and you won't lend a hand? Help? Back then, when you sent me out for a cold soda, you were sending me to my death. I coldly refused. This heatwave will pass in a few days, just hang in there. After I hung up, my dad called my brother aside. There's only one way. Your mom has to die for that worthless one to really come back. She's my mom. My dad sneered. What? You or your wife want to die instead? My brother didn't say another word. Let Mom go peacefully. That night, my sister-in-law served a slightly thicker bowl of rice soup to my mom. Eat up, Mom. She stopped herself mid-sentence. I knew what wasn't said. Eat up so you don't die hungry. They poisoned the soup with rat poison, enough to kill a person multiple times. My mom died, at the hands of those she loved the most. Kevin clapped happily at the sight of his grandma's body. Grandma's dead, and will come get me. I'm gonna have steak and ice-cold sodas. In the cellar, the family was in high spirits. None of them mourned my mom's passing. They started dreaming of having plenty of food. My brother rubbed his hands. Even if we don't have air conditioner, Jenny will definitely bring food back. As long as we don't starve, we can make it. They didn't expect that my mom's death didn't stir any emotion in me. Dead. Just bury her somewhere. I'm not coming back. My dad roared, that's your mother. Not coming back for the funeral? People will curse you for it. Before, I cared a lot about what people thought. Tried to be the perfect daughter in everyone's eyes. But all I got for my concessions was endless exploitation. This time, I chose to live for myself. Whatever, let them talk. I'll pay respects when the heat wave is over. Kevin's face was alarmingly red. He kept shaking his head. Dad said, when Grandma dies, I won't be hungry. Aunt, Grandma's dead. Why aren't you coming? I want steak and popsicles. Your dad lied to you, idiot. I closed the video chat. My phone was about to die, and my brother cautiously turned it off. My sister-in-law was anxious. We're running out of food. Your dad, hang in there a little longer. The few people in the cellar held on for 2 more days. The heat and hunger left them too weak to talk. Everyone leaned against the corner, utterly exhausted. Meanwhile, I cooked myself 4 dishes and a soup in the villa. Coke chicken wings, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, boiled meat, and braised beef. The soup was a tangy hot and sour soup. I had enough food in the villa to last me 3 months. I ate in the dining room and sent a picture to my brother. On the surveillance monitor, my brother shouted a curse. If this keeps up, we'll all die. Let Dad go out. Maybe he can find where Jenny is staying. The temperature had risen to the point it was unsafe for people to go outside. My dad was scared. I'm not going out. Why me? Mom's dead. If you don't go, then who will? That's right, his last excuse was gone. Poison had taken Mom. In the face of life or death, everyone's true colors showed. Everyone wanted to survive. I desperately wanted to live too. I crawled on the floor, enduring the heat, my knees burning, leaving scars. I thought maybe someone would come looking for me. Just hold on a bit longer. No one had the right to take away their lives. From the moment they plotted to kill me, fate's boomerang was bound to strike back at them. In the end, Dad got pushed out. His precious eldest son forced him out of the cellar. Kevin used his last bit of strength to run out. Good grandson, did you plead for me? Hope ignited in my dad's eyes. Kevin excitedly said, Grandpa, can you get me a cold Coke? I really want one. The hope in Dad's eyes vanished, replaced by silence. Look, fate's boomerang came back around. When I was sent out for a Coke, Dad was indifferent. Kevin wants it, you'd better hurry. Don't come back if you can't get it. My dear father, if you can't get it, don't bother coming back. I doubt you'll be able to return. Dad knew stepping out meant death. Leaving the cellar, he went back inside our house. It was hotter than an oven inside. He searched around but found no food. I really regret this. Was he regretting buying the supplies or killing Mom? Of course, the answer didn't matter to me. Dad's phone battery was nearly dead. In one last attempt, he dialed me. Jenny, where are you? Your brother kicked me out of the cellar. I'm dying. I'll die if I leave too. Just hang in there. If you can't make it, then keep mom company, at least you won't be alone. Ungrateful girl, I'll skin you alive when I find you. He lacked the strength to come after me. He died 2 hours after being kicked out. He died painfully from dehydration due to the extreme heat. My brother and sister-in-law, still in the cellar, clung to the faint hope that Dad would return with good news. Kevin slipped into unconsciousness daily but was briefly revived with rice water. When's Grandpa bringing back the cold Coke? It's so hot, he'd ask. The heat had stripped away their shame, leaving them exposed. My sister-in-law licked her cracked lips. He'll be back for sure. That was their only hope. 3 days later, the rice jar was completely empty. My brother turned his attention to my sister-in-law. She messaged me, "Jenny, save me. Who saved me in the last life?" I chose to turn off my phone completely. In the end, my brother didn't do it. Not because he had a change of heart. Somebody shouted from outside. It had cooled down. On the 17th day, the temperature finally dropped. My brother and sister-in-law looked emptily forward. Is it really over? My brother tried to hug her, but she stepped back. Don't touch me, you creep. I want a divorce. I saved the surveillance footage. Once things returned to normal, I called the local police. Hello, I'd like to report an attempted murder. The outside temperature normalized. My brother bought food from the villagers, and Kevin finally got his cold Coke. After getting back on their feet, they tried to return to the city but were stopped by some village thugs. You lost thousands gambling, pay up. My brother had no money. He hoped I'd deal with his mess. Unable to pay, the thugs beat him badly. The surveillance captured his cries of pain. My sister has money, she'll pay. No one believed him. Then the police sirens blared, arresting them for attempted murder. Days later, I was questioned too. Dad's death wasn't directly linked to my brother and sister-in-law. They just forced him out of the cellar. It's morally wrong, but not murder. However, Mom's death was on them. The surveillance footage was undeniable evidence. They couldn't escape murder charges for her. They begged, asking me to write a letter of forgiveness for a reduced sentence. I ignored them. Apologizing to me does nothing. Only those you harmed have the right to forgive you. In the end, my brother got the death penalty and my sister-in-law got life in prison. Her parents adopted Kevin, even asked me for a monthly allowance. I refused. The house my brother bought under my name gave me the right to sell. I sold the house and car, quickly moved to a new city with the money. With grandparents like that, Kevin would probably face hardships growing up. No one's going to pamper you in the real world. I bought an apartment in a coastal city and got 2 cats. Life was wonderfully peaceful. The heat nightmare was fading away. After everything, I decided to live differently. Love yourself first. Spoil yourself. From now on, I live for me. The end.